I'm so moved by her design. So she's a landscape architect.
Yeah.
Just a level of refinement, both texturally and formally, that betrays an incredible eye. She's an absolute genius. Hey everybody, Adam Savage, and I am at the National Parks Museum Conservation Labs in West Virginia alongside Eleanore. Good morning, how are you?
Doing well.
And one of the things I have always loved about the national parks is the graphics. I feel like the graphics betray just a really deep devotion to communication, but also to beauty. And you've got some amazing examples here to talk about.
We do, yes. So we're going to start with these windshield stickers here. So this is the first time that the Park Service really has any kind of graphic design that they put out for the public. So these were used starting in 1918. Our earliest example that we have in the collection is 1921.
Oh,
but
wow, there are potentially some older ones out there.
Yeah, there are. So Yellowstone and Yosemite both have some in their collections that do go back earlier.
Gotcha.
But this is the earliest one we have, as well as there are some in some private collections.
Okay.
After they started charging fees in the parks in 1908, this was a way that rangers could easily see that someone had paid their fee.
Of course.
Yeah, so they'd give you one of these passes. Either, depending on the year, sometimes that fee would be good for a week. Sometimes it would actually be good for the whole year, and people could, or the whole summer, excuse me.
Yeah.
And people could stay in the parks all summer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it became quickly this fad, though.
That people wanted these.
Yeah, it's kind of the first time you see the Park Service being really collectible, actually.
Okay, and I would imagine that creates a problem if all the badges are this big. You can't see out of your windshield.
Exactly, and they start pretty early on after this first one comes out. You can see in their meeting minutes this discussion of,
really?
This is kind of a safety hazard, actually. Like, people are blocking their whole windshield.
Right.
So they kind of go at that problem by making them progressively smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point in 1940 they are actually like, okay, we can't do this anymore.
Right.
We're getting too much flack in the media. It's just a safety hazard. But kind of to show you the flip side of that,
oh my gosh,
literally, is they put these safety regulations and some kind of tips on the backs of these. And as as they get smaller, there's less and less of that information,
of course,
on the back. But one of my favorite things to point out on these is this is the first time that vehicles are coming into the parks.
Right,
so even on here, you have horse-drawn vehicles have the right of way.
Oh my gosh!
Written on there, right? Because they're still they're building roads kind of through the parks for the first time.
Wow, and you've got to yield to the horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did this have a stickum on it that they would apply to the windshield?
Yeah, that's a great question. So some of them did have a kind of an adhesive on them, but you can see on these later ones that's actually just a blob of glue. Because it wasn't really until 1940 when bumper stickers came out in World War II when you have that self-adhesion where people can stick things onto their vehicles.
Oh, so you would put the blob there and stick it in the inside
of your car.
And that's why you see the back and all those warnings.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because people were using bumper stickers, in 1940, but before then people would kind of like nail things or like adhere things onto the back of their car.
Right.
But this was much easier to kind of have stay intact on your vehicle as you're driving through the parks.
Just from a design perspective, they're such beautiful layouts.
Yes, they are. I think so too.
They're evocative. They speak to the adventure that they're hoping to communicate.
Right. Yes.
Tell me about these two beautiful things. What's going on here?
So this is the first time the Park Service decides to have a self-promoting ad campaign. Before this, really all advertising for the Park Service comes from train companies, automobile companies,
trying to
things like
get
that.
you to use their products to get there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the Park Service hasn't really adventured into promoting themselves yet.
Right.
And this is the first time in 1934 they declare it National Park Year and hire this woman, Dorothy Waugh, who was already working as a landscape architect for the National Park Service. And she is tasked with designing 6 posters to promote the parks. I can show you, there's 2 more under this one.
Yes,
if we can
I'd
shift
just like
these
to talk
over.
about these for a second. So she's a landscape architect.
Yeah.
How did they, there's just a level of refinement, both textually and formally, that betrays an incredible eye. She's an absolute genius. These are just incredible. I mean, and the difference between she's hand cutting these fonts, right?
Yeah, these are lithographs.
Right,
Yeah.
This is 1934. She doesn't have letraset.
Nope.
No.
Nope. We'll talk about silk screens in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
The next series is going to be silk screens.
Oh my
but this is
God.
before people are really using that mass production of silk screens. These are lithographs.
Incredible. They're so beautiful.
I know. Her fonts are crazy. I love them.
I'm a font nerd, and these are like moving me.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so there's more underneath?
Yes. So
Okay.
if you don't mind, they're up on these pieces of underlaid
Gotcha.
paper. So I love this one.
Life at its best.
National.
Oh my gosh. And she's only getting 2 colors per poster, or if that. I mean, these are two colors, but that other one was a single color.
Yep.
Wow, man. I'm trying to just picture how a graphic designer in 1934 does this, and I'm feeling like it's just tons and tons of careful cutting.
Yeah. And she's an interesting character. She went on to be a children's book illustrator as well.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
Well
which you
deserved.
can kind of tell from
Yes.
her designs.
Oh, no way. She did all these as a single series.
She did a series of 6 of these, and then later, a few years later, she did another series more of state parks and national parks, promoting them.
How rare are this series of posters today?
Yeah. So I think a lot of those kind of New Deal posters are incredibly rare. There's not a lot of surviving examples of them at all. Yeah. There's not great documentation on how many of these they made, but we imagine it's a pretty small number. Yeah. The Park Service has become, this graphic identity, right? There, like you started to talk about. And this is really, to me, the first very intentional time the Park Service is creating that.
Yeah.
While these are created, as well as a graphic design, right? They are more created for an administrative function.
Fair.
This is the first time that they're actually trying to using design to get people to come to the parks.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's being so bold about it.
Right.
That's the thing that's so cool. Like, we think institutionally that institutions, you have more and more meetings until everything is so boiled down. It doesn't, there's, all the edges are rounded. But these are bold statements about graphic design.
Right.
I mean, so they start right off the bat, as you're saying.
I also just have to say, I just imagine her being a woman working. And at that time, there weren't that many women graphic designers at all doing this work in the Park Service. And I just thought I think it must have been amazing.
Well, I mean, that's
for
one of
her.
the hidden beauties of the New Deal, right? Is it yields so much important 20th century art across every possible field.
And she actually also during this time period when she's working for the parks is very involved with the Civilian Conservation Corps and is creating manuals and guidance that went out for landscape architecture. So a lot of the structures that go up in parks, she's creating these booklets that would get mailed out for like a blueprint of how to build these structures, which are also so iconic to the Park Service, right?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I have a new obsession. She's just an
Isn't she
incredible
amazing?
genius. Totally amazing.
Yeah, we love her here. We love her so much.
And there's a few more posters to look at?
There are. Maybe the most iconic National Park Service posters are coming out next.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You probably recognize these a little bit.
I do.
Yeah.
They're very, very iconic. This one specifically.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yosemite. Yeah, somehow that one is burned into my brain. Tell me about this series.
Okay, so these posters, which are most commonly known as the WPA posters, the Works Progress Administration posters, were created actually by the Park Service during the New Deal to promote specific parks. So this is the second time that they have a poster series.
Okay,
as
so
an ad campaign.
Dorothy's is the first.
Dorothy's is the first, this is the second.
Incredible.
But the biggest difference between those two series is this is the first time that they're calling on specific parks. and using kind of the iconography of the parks to bring people to them.
Right. So this is the precursor to going to any state's website and seeing hot air balloons and the big sights you can see. This is the first time someone's doing this.
Right.
I love it.
Yes. So these are silk screens.
Oh, okay.
And they're
no
created
lithographs.
Yes, these are now silk screens. It's kind of when silk screens are becoming it's a newer media in a way of kind of mass producing posters. So you see a lot of different federal agencies kind of doing this in the New Deal, but this is the Park Service's example of this.
Am I right that the colors on these seem quite vibrant for them being almost 100 years old?
Well, some of them do. Yes, and you can see. I mean, these were never intended to be, last forever. They are ephemeral objects. They were thrown up in bus stations. They were left out in the rain. So actually, like this one here, you can see is much more faded than some of the other ones. Yeah, the colors. It kind of depends
on how they were stored.
On how they were stored and which one. Yes. So these are quite rare. This Yosemite one is the only one in existence. They made them in about batches of 100 at the Western Museum Lab, which was set up in Berkeley, California.
So they were setting up a whole production line for silk screening and doing all the plates.
Exactly. It was the office that was set up to support the National Park Service's museum program. So they sent out basically a catalog to all the parks and said, this is the things that we can offer you. We can build you exhibits, so we can help you write text, but we can also make you a poster to self-promote. So parks would approach them actually and say, hey, we have an idea for a poster maybe, and would like to work with you to make a design.
And they made 100 at a time.
About 100, yep.
And this is the only one of this
that has ever been found. And some of the Library of Congress has some of these. Parks will have some of them in their collection as well, and obviously private collections. But they're very rare. They're hard to come by for sure. I will say though, we like to think that these are much more iconic in many ways now than they were ever in history. They've had a resurgence, and that because they're in the public domain, there are lots of people who have taken this idea and created a poster for every single park that is out there. So you go to a visitor center or a gift shop, and you can probably buy a poster in this style for any park you can imagine. But really, there are 14 posters for 13 parks.
That were part of this original series.
That we know of.
Gotcha.
We suspect there were actually more created, and we have photographs of 2 posters in our collection that have never been found.
Oh my gosh! They're sitting somewhere in somebody's attic.
I know. So if you ever hear of anybody who has one in their attic, give me a call.
I have a weird side obsession with lost paper and book ephemera.
Me too.
I love
you came to the right place.
That it's out there.
Yes. So this is definitely a hunt that there are many people on this hunt as well. You can join the party. Where people are finding these is fascinating to me.
Oh, so?
There's cases where, some of these have been preserved in Library of Congress and things like that. But they're finding them in closets in parks and kind of in really interesting places, to the point where in the case of Bandelier, we found a case where these were cut up and used as file dividers in their files, as well as used in plant presses for barium specimens in the Bandelier collection, as well as actually just a few months ago, I was processing a library collection here, and I opened this piece of legislation.
This is okay.
And
look at that!
Yeah.
Holy cow! Yeah. They made it the cover.
So that kind of answers your question too about the colors. I was kind of saving it for the review.
Oh, wow, yes.
But how you can see actually how incredible the colors are on this one, because it's been sitting in a piece of legislation for so many years.
No photons have been deteriorating.
Well, this one probably hung, you can see the tack holes. This was just hung up somewhere.
That's just amazing to have such a record, a document.
I know. So this is now in our museum collection as well, to kind of tell that story of the ephemeral nature of these pieces.
And you found this.
I did find this.
So when you cracked that cover, That must have been like a,
Yes, it was quite a remarkable moment. And then there was definitely like a little posse of us running down the hall being like, look what I found! Look what I found! Because there's really very few left of these, like many New Deal posters. But I think these have captured the public's imagination in a way that a lot of graphic design in the Park Service, this has really become the most iconic, I would say.
Well, the thing that I opened by saying that I've always been attracted to the National Park Service design consistency and the space their graphics create. And what you show me is that this was from the get-go, that from the very beginning they were willing to be bold and beautiful and striking, and it's just so thrilling to see that the origin is even better than I imagined.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just incredible. Eleanore, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk about them.
I didn't even know about Bandelier National Monument.
Oh yeah, you should go. It's amazing.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching that video. Stickers! We have 4 brand new sticker packs for sale at adamsavage.com, and we have stickers to satisfy everybody in your life. We have right up front a Welcome Maker sticker pack that's got the tested logo, measure once, cut twice, more tested logos, Adam, Welcome Maker, Savage Industries, San Francisco. This is great for the beginning maker to start to dress up their toolboxes. We also have Logo Mojo with just some of our big tested logos and the katakana logo and some fun stuff. Oh, dude, that is awesome. I hadn't even seen that one before. Okay, Logo Mojo. Then we've got Atomisms. There's always more room on the Z-axis. The tested, always be knolling. It's not a problem to solve. It's a process to manage. Oh yeah, this is great. And then finally, we've got Stick Happens, which is for the screw-ups. Measure once, curse twice. We've got Adam eating everything in sight. We have Savage Industry logos. Oh yeah, demerit badge for going down the rabbit hole. The worn out tested katakana logo. Dude, there are stickers here to satisfy every sticker fetish in your life. adamsavage.com. I cannot wait to see in the comments what you have adorned with these stickers. Thank you. Back to your YouTube rabbit holes.